Hey, what's up guys? This is a video I've been asked to do a lot, and that's the biggest mistakes that rifle scope buyers make. Now, if this is your first time here, make sure and hit the subscribe button. I got a ton, an absolute ton of rifle scope videos. Now, let's start out with some of the stuff you may feel like you want, but you may not necessarily really need it. All right, one of the first things that a lot of guys have to have in a scope, or they think they have to have in a scope, is illumination. Now, there's a couple of things to think about when it comes to scope illumination. If you're inside of a gun shop or you're outside and it's really clear and bright like it is now, and you can see the illumination in this kind of light, even on the lowest setting, at dusk and dawn, if you're getting it to hunt with, it's going to be too bright. The kind that you can barely see are the ones that are actually a little more useful. Great glass beats illumination every time. All right, another big one that guys just have to have, or they think they do, is the really super close focus. Guys want a scope that'll focus down to 10 yards or at the minimum 25, when a lot of times if it's a hunting scope, you don't really need that. But something guys don't take into consideration, nothing in scopes is free. To get something, you give up something. To get the close focus, a lot of times you give up the field of view. All right, now these two kind of go hand in hand. Locking turrets, if they're exposed turrets, and a zero stop. A lot of guys don't even know how to use a zero stop. What it's set up for, if you want to zero your scope at 100 yards and there's something out there at 400 yards, you've got it calibrated on your dial, dial it up, and when you turn it back, it'll stop back at the original zero. The locking turrets, when you pull up on them, you can turn them and lock them back down. Now, a lot of guys want all of this stuff in a hunting scope. If you're looking for a hunting scope, you're way, way better off just getting a cap turret scope. Set it, forget it, and you never have to fool with it again. I mean, unless you drop the gun off the top of a car or off a horse or something like that, but I wouldn't know anything about that. All right, the larger tube diameter scopes, the 30, 34, 35 millimeter, a lot of guys think the larger the diameter of the scope, the more light that flows through it. Light doesn't flow. Light passes through things. It doesn't matter how big the tube is. All the size of the tube normally gives you is a little more elevation adjustment because the internal assembly has more room to move. Other than that, it don't mean shit. Like my wife always tells me, baby, don't worry about girth. It's no big deal. All right, a huge objective. A lot of guys think I got to have this gigantic objective on the front of it. Now, there's a lot of downsides to that. One is weight. Another is you're going to have to get extra high rings for that thing to clear the barrel on the gun. But the downside to having a huge objective that almost nobody ever touches on is the depth of field. If you have a huge objective scope, everything else being equal, the depth of field is going to be real shallow. You're going to have to adjust the focus a lot. If you take that exact same scope with a 44 millimeter bell on it, the depth of field is going to be a lot deeper. You're not having to constantly tweak it to get everything in focus. Plus, you're not having to do like that to see through the damn thing. And trust me, scopes like that are generally heavy as hell. Speaking of heavy as hell, the weight and the length is something else a lot of guys don't consider when they're buying their new scope. So think about the weight of the scope and the length of it. If you don't need a scope that long, don't buy one. Now here's one I've been guilty of. That's getting too hung up on one particular brand. It's super easy to do when you get a scope that you really love and not give another brand a try on down the road. Don't be like Granny. She bought a Buick back in the 50s, and to this day, all she'll buy are Buicks. There's other cars out there, and there's other scopes out there. All right, the financial part of it, that can be a bitch, especially trying to explain it to your wife and trying to fit it into your budget. Buy as much scope as you can afford. You'll never, ever regret it. There's nothing more disappointing than buying a $600 scope, go to the range and your buddy bought a $1,000 scope, and you've had that $1,000 in your budget, or if it's 100, 200, whatever the budget is, to see the next line up, and it just makes you want to get sick thinking, well, I scrimped here and it bit me in the damn ass. It's like buying work shoes. It's like buying a good pair of hunting boots. I'd rather buy it one time and cry than cry every damn time I use it. Believe me, I've been there. Now, the two biggies that are easiest to step into this minefield, buying a scope because of all the goodies that come with it, and too damn much magnification. Now, when you buy a scope and it comes with rings, levels, a laser pointer, cleaning cloth, flip-up scope caps, bikini scope caps, a brand new pen, a spark plug, a sex toy for your wife, a stuffed animal for your kids, a brand new thermos. What? Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't buy a scope because of the stuff that comes with it. Buy the scope because you want the scope. You're trying to buy the steak, not the sizzle. Now, the magnification is one I kick myself in the ass repeatedly for because I've done it over and over and over again. I'm a dumbass. Yep. I go to the store and I see a 4 to 12 that's $300. The 6 to 24 is $325. Oh, hell yeah. I'm getting that higher magnification. Oh, man. I screwed that up because if I was looking at the 4 to 12, that's what I really needed. I didn't need the 6 to 24. So when I get out there in the woods with the 6 to 24, it's going to get dark quicker. The field of view is going to be smaller. The image is not going to be as clear. It's going to be heavier. It's going to be longer. And at the end of the day, I'm going to get tired of carrying around that damn thing stuck on top of my gun when I could have got the more lightweight scope that will do everything the other one did, but I just jumped up because I thought I was getting a bargain. Don't do that shit unless you have a reason. The lighter weight, lower magnification scopes are always going to be a better image downrange, a larger field of view, and a hell of a lot less hassle. I hope this video helped you in some way. If it did, check out my other videos. I've got a lot of videos that go into more detail on things like mil versus MOA, the magnification, and all the different little things that come with buying a rifle scope. And if you're already a scope guru, then check out my rifle scope reviews. I use the same camera, same lenses on the exact same range, and always try to catch the lighting conditions the same so that guys can go back through my scope reviews and see an apple to apple comparison of what this scope looks like up against this scope and get a really good idea of what you're going to be looking at when you lay your money down. And to the guys that are already subscribed to my channel and share my channel with their buddies, I appreciate it more than you can ever know. See ya.